Greetings, folks. I'm Josh Williams with the one and only
Fred Miner, Peregrine Safe and Ready.
Fred. We are halfway through the month of January.
Amazing.
You can sort of hear a frogginess, a grovelly tone to my voice because I
have the germ barrier set up.
I don't
it's
know what's
invisible,
going on.
but I've got it set up.
Yeah, I don't know what you got going on here. You won't look, but I am a incubator, I guess. But I've got that bad bug. I've been fighting it since New Year's. And, we talk about being prepared, and I think this is a great example. We were just talking before, things I could have done to not let this escalate to this point.
Well, to back up, Josh has been really sick. I mean, he's been pretty well down with this respiratory infection. And I can speak with great authority on those, Josh, because for years it was an annual event with me. Okay. Literally, all through my 20s and 30s, I would come down with these head colds in the wintertime that would then migrate down into my chest, usually end up with bronchitis, trip to the doctor, antibiotics, all that stuff. For myself, I had kind of an epiphany about 8 or 9 years ago, and I read a book about natural cures and stuff, and I've always been leaning towards the health food, and I've done some supplementing since I was in high school, but I got really serious about it and more informed than just the shotgun approach. You know, take a multivitamin, maybe take this or that when I had it. And
well, what did you do for? I mean, it started off like a cold, then went bronchitis, and it sort of evolved into like a walking pneumonia sort of deal. So, what would you do?
Well, the good news
in your epiphany or your post-epiphany, what'd you figure out?
One of the things that I do now, whenever I feel a sniffle coming on, is I really do hit the vitamin C. But a lot of people will take vitamin C. The trouble is, vitamin C by itself won't do anything. Every vitamin has a mineral cofactor that you have to have present also, and zinc is the one that seems to work with vitamin C in the immune system. So when I feel a cold coming on, I'll take 1,000 milligram vitamin C tablet, and I'll also take a zinc supplement, and I'll do that 2 or 3 times a day, and that typically will knock it out, and I'll get a very mild cold that'll last a couple of days, and then you're over it.
Disclaimer,
I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I read a lot of stuff about nutrition. I do have a certificate in sport nutrition, but I can't say that the formal studies that allowed me to get that certificate is where I learned this.
Okay.
I do a lot of reading. There's a lot of books and talk now out there about the superfoods, and I'm a huge proponent of that.
What are superfoods?
There
For
are
those that don't know.
There are certain vegetables, basically, and fruits that are so packed with phytonutrients, polyphenols, and other things that we need to have optimal health. And if we don't make a concerted effort to consume them, we will be deficient. I mean, think about it, Josh. You only get sick for 2 reasons.
Is bacon a superfood?
No, it's not. Bacon is not a superfood. Bacon is an allowable food in controlled quantities if you get the stuff that's not processed with the nitrites.
Okay.
The nitrates. They're bad.
All right.
They're very bad. So you got to go to your butcher. Dark chocolate is full of polyphenols. It's a really good thing with antioxidants.
Okay.
But it's dark chocolate. Milk chocolate is not really chocolate. Milk chocolate is usually a bunch of high fructose corn syrup and some milk solids and other junk mixed together with a little bit of chocolate for flavoring.
So milk chocolate's not really chocolate?
No. It's got chocolate in it, but a very small quantity, and not enough to do you any good, and a lot of bad stuff to do you harm.
This is
where you got to learn about the foods. Okay, back to the superfoods. Okay, the first thing on my list is the cruciferous vegetables, and that's the cabbage family.
Okay. I can't stand cabbage, especially if you cook it.
Cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale, those, and then there's not actually cruciferous vegetables, but put along with that things like spinach and turnip greens and collard and all that stuff. They're just so good for you.
All right.
But kale top the list.
Okay.
They really do.
Those.
Okay. One of the things I do is I put some kale. I make some people would call them smoothies. They're not, but I'll make these vegetable cocktails and throw some kale in it. And the only thing it does is, from a consuming aspect, is it makes it green.
Right.
Okay. You don't taste it. Kale if you boil up kale or steam it, you can eat it the way you do spinach when it's cooked, and it's kind of okay. Put some vinegar and butter on it, you can live with it. And I'm not anti-butter, by the way.
What about how about next week we bring in a blender and we have a
You want a
shake?
demo? You want a demo? I could.
Can we do that?
Probably could.
That'd
sure.
be fun. I mean,
They're
we
noisy.
Can see, it's all right. We
Yeah.
can turn the audio down.
Yeah.
Fred shake.
We could do the Fred shake. I have a favorite one that I do that's got kind of a blend of a lot of good stuff plus some extra protein in it.
Probably got mud and stone.
No, but you know,
Hard. Toughen up.
you understand this as a distance athlete, okay?
Yes.
No, as a distance athlete, you want to keep your weight down because the more weight you got to carry around, the harder it is. It takes, it just robs energy.
Travel light, kill quick.
I'm because my sport of choice is obstacle racing. I have to have this balance between the cardio endurance and strength to climb over walls and up the cargo nets and all that stuff. And what I found is, as I've gotten older, it's hard to keep muscle mass on. I actually can lose weight fairly easily now,
Right.
but I can get down to that threshold where, geez, I don't want to lose any more weight. So I pack this thing with some whey protein and raw egg and stuff. And again, you throw an egg in something like that, you never taste it. You don't even know it's there. It'll just make it a little bit thicker consistency and not like that snotty raw egg consistency.
Rocky Balboa in the house.
Yeah, not like that.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to do a shake, but I like the pointer of hitting it with the vitamin C and the zinc.
Oh, that's really.
I'm going to run up
really
there
good.
to the GNC or Wegmans and
Yeah.
grab some
some.
of that and hit myself with a
Let me
dose of
give
that.
people, if people are interested in this, here's an easy way to remember it. G-BOMB. And I didn't make this up. I stole it. This is
All
off
right.
another guy's lecture. The first G is for greens.
Okay.
You got to eat a lot of greens. B is there's berries is the second B. What is this the next B? You got berries, onions, mushrooms, beans.
All right.
Okay, so let's go greens, beans, legumes, in other words,
Yeah.
and included in that are things like lentils
Right.
and peas and stuff that are really good for you.
Right.
Onions have some amazing properties. The thing with onions is you either got to chew them up really good or chop them really fine and break up the cell walls.
Okay.
Okay, garlic I'd put along in the onion family. A lot of good stuff in garlic. People know that. Same thing though. You got to prepare it properly. Mushrooms, not the white buttons that you usually get at the store, like the shiitakes and some
Right.
of the more exotic stuff. Have some really good vitamin D source.
Portobello.
Yeah, they're good. I love them. I put them in everything I can.
Okay.
Berries are awesome, and get a variety of colors: bright red, bright blue. Blueberries are probably the top. Goji berries, but you can't just go out and buy goji berries around here.
Right.
But we can get stuff that has goji berries in it. But cherries, blackberries, raspberries, all of them have some really great properties.
As you're rattling off these nutritional
Yeah.
items, I'm realizing that no wonder I got sick.
And the last one, the S in G-BOMBs, is for seeds, which would
Okay.
include nuts.
Right.
And not particularly
Flaxseed,
peanuts.
any
Peanuts are
flaxseed?
okay, but flaxseed, chia seed. I eat a couple Brazil nuts every day because they're a great source of selenium. And I think we've talked before about
Right.
the soil around here has no selenium in it, so most people are selenium deficient. Selenium, if you up your selenium intake, and it doesn't take much, you lower the risk of colon cancer. You lower the risk of prostate cancer, which is a big deal for guys. There's a whole bunch of things that it does for your immune system. Cancer is not a disease.
Okay.
Do people know that? Okay, it's not a disease like tuberculosis. That's caused by a microbe that
All
gets
right.
in your body, makes you sick.
If cancer's not a disease, what is?
Cancer is when your cells misfire in the reproduction process. And you get a cell that isn't right. It might be a muscle cell, it might be lung tissue, it might be anywhere in your body, but it's not, something went wrong with it and it doesn't have the right, genetic code as the other cells around it. And it begins to grow and become something unto itself. And if it becomes a tumor, then it'll get its own blood supply, and then it'll take off until it impairs the function of that other tissue. So what we need to cure cancer is not to find some new treatment. We need to identify the causes of cancer and eliminate them, and a lot of that is just boost your immune system. We live in a tainted world. You can't get away from pollutants and things in the food, things in the cleaning products, things in the air, but if you have a strong immune system, it's working properly. Whenever one of those cancer cells occurs, and they do in everybody all your life, your immune system should attack it and destroy it so it doesn't go anywhere. So that's my thought for the day. That'll get you over your cold, huh?
Yeah. Thanks, Fred.
Yeah.
Thanks
Hey,
for all that great information.
it's a lot cheaper than
Right.
going to the doctor, and it's a
Right.
hell of a lot cheaper than going through some kind of expensive treatment.
No, you're absolutely correct. And we'll sell next week. We're going to do a follow up, and I'm going to enact your strategy here.
Okay.
To knocking this off.
We'll
I
bring a
feel
bunch of stuff in, and we'll make a cocktail, and
All right.
yeah.
All right,
Okay.
that sounds
I love
good.
it.
For more information, how can someone reach you? Because you have your self defense. You
Yep.
have your the
Again,
defense course with.
I have
up in
my own
Rochester there.
website. It's
Okay.
www.peregrinesafeandready, spelled out, all one word, .com. Or you can call me on my cell. It's area code 585-447-0357.
And we also made it through without going into one political rant, even though
Not
Mr.
one.
Cuomo said you're not welcome in the state.
Yeah, well, I kind of feel the same way about him. So.
Right.
No hard feelings.
All right. Well, I'm Josh Williams, and this is.
Fred Miner.
Have a good week, and we'll be back next week. And make sure you take lots of vitamins and eat healthy.
G-bombs.
G-bomb.
G-bombs. We'll talk about that more.
Yo. All right. Have a good week.